Hi, welcome to the garden today. And today we're going to be going over planting mainly planting the cauliflower, and also go out and looking at what's happening out in the in-ground garden. I started planting them about a week ago. I did a video on it, planted all the broccoli, green magic broccoli, and then I started planting the twister cauliflower. They just wasn't quite big enough. So I waited. Now they are getting kind of leggy also, but I had them outside. This here is some more broccoli that's smaller that I'll plant later. You'll notice the lettuce over here, some of these have died. They've damped off. They stayed just a little bit too wet. Got a little bit too much water on them. Where the ones over here that are further away, they're doing just fine. So that can be a problem. That's why I went ahead and before we had there, I had it more balanced where the water was all down here. Now I took it down so the water's going down there. This here is the onions, and they're doing about right. You see they kind of look funny when they come up. And then you got, like this here's got the little seed on top of it, because it'll bend over like that, and then or I guess that one's a good one, and that top will flip up. And what I'm going to do, I'll let them get up about 6 to 8 inches, and I cut them down to about 4 inches, the tops. And what that'll do is I'll try to make that bulb down here bigger. You'll quit doing that once you plant them in the ground. And it's one variety called cougar. But anyway, now it's going out to the garden. Okay, here is the where we've got the Rollet heatless habaneros growing mainly, and it's got a really big. I think there's 2 or 3 plants in here. It's gotten really big. It's got a lot of fruit on it. It needs to be picked. I have been watering some. I've got a pot or watering can. It's got a leak in it. That's got a leak on here too. So what I'll do, I'll fill this thing up. I set it off to the side and just leave it, and that water slowly drip out. It makes it fairly easy to do it that way. The water get deeper than if I just try to pour it out, because that water go everywhere. So usually I got two containers. I put the one container in, water it, and I'll put that down in another spot. It does kind of get down deeper in it, and it still lets me use that container, because I leave these containers outside all the time, and that's what happens. Over here we got some of the peas that I mowed down. They are starting to make some, but what happens, I'm just going to show you. If you see this, and you're thinking, what in the world stole these? You may think it's a rat. You may think it's a freaking bird. Those birds will hit these things, and they'll start going up them, and then that's clip. You got way up to there. So that will happen sometimes. Especially get them if you let them get up on the trellis or whatever. He got this in here pretty good, because they like these peas. So these field peas, but that's a bird damage. Like I say, you got these over here. But I mean, they're hungry. At least they're eating them. And the horse, there's some over here. We do let the horse in on here. And he's been eating along this side, eating the peas, which is fine. He'll stick his head and graze on this here. Sometimes they'll actually grow peas. There was actually a pea one time that they were going to try to plant for livestock. You'll notice the peach tree there, or nectarine tree, is blooming. I used to get worried about that, but that's just what they do sometimes in the fall down here down south on your low chill peaches. So if you see that, it's not the end of the world. It should have enough buds on it next year to still have buds next year, because those will make probably 10 or 20 times the number of fruit that you really want them to. So if it blooms out, even half the blooms bloom, you still got the other half. You still gonna have to thin. So because I had this tree over here last year, it bloomed completely out, I thought, and then later it went ahead and bloomed out that next spring. Still has some fruit on it, but and it probably needs a drink of water. We are really, really dry. But anyway, I'm going down to the next part of the garden. Here we got the part where I'm going to be planting the cauliflower. To show you what I did, got this strung off. And what I did, first thing, I kind of leveled it out with the rake like this. And then I came back with this furrow Dug a little furrow right like that. Then I took some triple 16, and it was a 32-ounce glass. Sprinkled it all out as evenly as I could along here. And then I came back and just covered it back up like that. So what that does is that gets that fertilizer below ground for two reasons. First reason is nitrogen escapes. So if nitrogen stays on top of the soil, it's going to stay up in the atmosphere. 78% of our atmosphere is nitrogen. That's where it wants to go. First reason. Second reason is phosphorus is the opposite. Phosphorus doesn't go anywhere. So if I throw that phosphorus on top of the ground, these plants aren't going to be able to utilize it this year. It's probably next year or the year after. Until you till it into the soil and get into the root zone, it's going to stay where it's at. So that gets the phosphorus in the root zone. The potassium, you know, it would get down in the root zone. It doesn't volatilize. It'd probably been okay. But those two, but your phosphorus needs to be put into the root zone, and you want to get the nitrogen into the root zone to keep it from going back up in the atmosphere. But anyway, that's how I did that. The other thing that I want you to look at is these beans, and they started making. And once you get about that size, a lot of times you're better off to use two hands when you're picking them. That way you won't jerk the whole plant up. Yes, I've done it before. And it's not made a whole lot yet. The heat, they started throwing off a lot of the blooms. They had a whole lot of blooms on these things. I pick these pretty aggressively whenever I pick them. And anyway, I never know how long to go through and show y'all how to pick beans. That bean's not any good. I will give a shout out to one that I always mean to do this at the beginning of videos and never remember. There is a YouTuber, it's Planet Dirt Backyard Garden, Gardener, I think it is. And she's got a YouTube video, and she does a good job on stuff. Something else ate. But she is under 1,000 people. She's fairly new. Does a good job. She's up in the desert in Phoenix, and I think Arizona. And she has a lot more problems than I do, or different problems. And it's always interesting to watch other people from other areas. Sometimes I give her a hard time about, I got a longer growing season, and she does have hot weather, but she don't have the humidity that I got. So it kind of works out. But might give her, I think she's gonna do a premiere video tomorrow or Saturday on her channel. But anyway, I know whenever you're trying to get up to 1,000, sometimes it's hard to get there. So anyway, let's say use two hands. I start using one. And like I say, when it's hot like this, you can see a lot of blooms, stuff falling off. But still, I'm not even halfway done. That'll make a mess of fruit. Anyway, then I'll mark the spot where it was at, and I'll do that off camera. And the other thing we can look at is these here that are planted. When did I plant these? About a week ago, maybe. You go back and look at the videos and see. If you start seeing this, okay, that means you got a worm somewhere. Especially if you see it on a couple of leaves. I did spray these because I had some extra chemical left over, because I had the bugs was eating the worms were eating the beans, so I sprayed the beans and still have some spray in the deal, so I went and hit these with that spinosad. But it's pretty mild as far as an insecticide. And here's the broccolis up here, and the broccolis are looking better. You're also going to see some variations within here because this soil is not, you know, real consistent as far as the fertility. It's just that way. It's kind of on a little bit of a ridge, and actually it's one of the more non-fertile area, but drains well. And I got so tired of the Beaumont clay, which is that thick clay that you could almost model clay with, clay pots. So the further that way you go in my garden, the better, the more fertile the garden is. And that one closest to where the T-posts are is the most fertile part. But anyway, if you weren't on the first video, I'll go ahead and plant a couple of these plants. I'll be using the hole here. Now these rows are really wide apart, and that's kind of where I had those T-posts at. That's how I was doing my tomatoes, so that's why they're kind of so wide. Don't need them that wide, but I got space, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, I would not suggest planting this far apart. It just worked out for me. What I like about these trays, these are Burpee Super Cedar trays. They're easy to pop out. You just pop them out like that. You can grab them by the roots, so you're not pulling them out. These did get kind of leggy, and I don't like that, but
we're running out of battery, by the way.
Okay. So I guess my son says it's about time we need to be off. But anyway, we'll probably charge up the battery. I still got one other thing I was wanting to show you in a little bit, but be back in a while. Okay, we're back. We got through, ate lunch, and got back in the garden. I did finish picking the beans, so made a decent amount of beans, just the first picking on them. I really kind of sad because they would have done a whole lot better. It's just because that the fertility was wrong. That part of the garden sometimes would do that to me. I noticed that with the onions one year. It did that. It didn't make very good onions, so I don't know if the pH is off on it or just not very nutritious or not. This is kind of an old beachfront, I think. But anyway, I did finish planting all the cauliflower. It does look limpy like that, and it'll do that. That looked like that too. This has been sitting here longer, so it will straighten up better. Make sure you just go one plant. I did plant them 18 inches apart. That's kind of the ideal setting. Did have a few left over, so not sure what I'll do with those. I can put them in the grow bags or do something of that nature. I did stop planting them down here because I do got this trellis set up. I've also got that stupid little mole cricket that's crawled in here just a little bit. So I got some magnolia blossom peas, and these are the English peas. Got from Haas Tools. Now these were packaged for 2022. I did plant, I think, last year, and some of them came up, so I'm going to try them again this year. I've got some other peas also. They don't look very good. So I'll go ahead and plant them and give them a little while. If they don't come up on the other side, I'll plant the other snap peas. But anyway, and these are easy. Just shove them in the ground, cover them up. You know, I don't get real fancy with them. I don't think these seeds, they don't look good. But I really can't remember what they looked like last year either. And I planted cucumbers here this year. None of them came up. And I really think it's just that mole cricket came down here and ate them all. And I poisoned the mole cricket. I also got a lot of ants through here, and not just fire ants, just regular native ants too. I'm surprised how much native ants will actually get into stuff. I'm on my knees just because I don't know how else to do this. I got to where I can't bend over much. Neighbors pulling in the trailer. Like I say, I'm not real sure. These seeds just don't look that great to me. Now it would have been easier, and I want to replant that. It would have been easier to took that little hoe and made a better. I could just shove them in there and cover them up, but I didn't do that. But like I say, at least we'll find out if the seeds are still good. Surprisingly, the ants don't seem to bite me that much. And a quick fact that I think I've told on the channel before, a lot of times everything usually has a purpose or a good side to it. Sometimes it's hard to find. With fire ants, they've actually lowered the tick population greatly for East Texas. So we got a lot less ticks than we used to have back in the 50s, all because of that fire ants. So, but they make other pests like aphids worse. Over here, I'm just going to show you all that the peas have finally started blooming and looking pretty good. And that's not a pea. I don't know what these are, but I hate them. And like I say, I think they're going to go ahead and make, especially these right here, if the birds don't get to them. But here they're a little bit less likely. Well, I say that. They do like trellis. But anyway, they are starting to make and put on. Sometimes when you grow peas like this, you have to wait in the middle of them and hope you don't run into a snake. I haven't so far, so I'm not real jumpy about it. I do have a tendency when it comes to snakes, if I don't see one, I'm assuming one's not there and I don't have a problem with it, but if I ever see one, I get a little jumpy. But I don't hate snakes, but because they eat rats. At least a snake, I'm faster than a snake. Well, he wasn't ready the other day and now he's past ready. It's a little fig that we had. I ain't gonna try it. It's a little too mushy for me. But, and then I was gonna show you, because I do need to do this for the next day or two. I mowed all this down and this stuff come up really quick. Right now it's no damage, especially all this stuff in here. That's starting to where they're gonna make seeds. If you keep this stuff from making seeds, you're way ahead of the game. So I'll bring out the wheel hoe and I'll go over it, and that should take care of all these weeds. But anyway, thanks for watching. That's all I got for today, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.